Hello and welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. My name is Veronica Chambers, but today I'm not telling you my stories. I'm going to take you halfway across the world from me to Argentina, where we have the other storyteller, Veronica, Graciela Veronica, who told her stories a few weeks ago on the World Storytelling Cafe, but they were all in Spanish, so today I'm going to help you understand her beautiful words. So we're going to have a bit of a split of the video between Spanish and English. Graciela Veronica
Hola, buenas
calls herself
tardes.
La Juge
Bienvenidos al World
because she comes
Storytelling
from an area
Coffee.
in
Soy
Argentina
Graciela
called
Veronica
Jujuy.
y les estoy
She tells
hablando
us
desde
about this
Argentina.
beautiful area,
Me llaman La
four
Juge.
geographical
Y me
regions of
llaman La
this one
Juge
area, the
porque
very
nací en
north
la provincia de
of
Jujuy, una
Argentina.
provincia que está ubicada
She tells us
al
of the
norte de
jungle.
Argentina,
It's
bien,
full of
bien arriba
vegetation and
de
jaguars
esa
and
provincia,
pumas,
que es una provincia
indigenous
hermosa,
species,
que
a
está
real jungle.
diferenciada en cuatro zonas
She
geográficas.
talks about the
Cada
valley
una con
area,
una
all
característica muy
green with
especial.
rivers that run
Tenemos la
clear
zona de
all
la
the way down
selva,
the
más
hills.
selvática, que es con
And
muchísima
then she
vegetación,
talks
donde
about
hay
the arid area,
yaguaretés, hay
which is
especies
called La
naturales
Puna.
y es muy selvática.
Here,
Tenemos
La
la zona de
Juge
los valles,
lived for
toda
13 years in a
verde
place
y con
called
ríos de
Guaca,
agua clara.
which is just on the border
Tenemos
with
la
Bolivia.
zona de la Puna, que es una
And
zona
then
árida, que
there's a
es donde
place
yo
called
viví
Quebrada
durante
de
13 años de mi
Humahuaca.
vida, en una
Now,
ciudad
in
limítrofe
Graciela's video,
que se
you
llama
would have
La
seen that
Quiaca,
she
que
opened a
está
book
al
and she
límite con
showed a
Bolivia.
picture.
Y
This
también
is a
está
picture
la
that she's
quebrada de
showing you.
Humahuaca. La quebrada de
The
Humahuaca, que ha sido
Quebrada de
declarada
Humahuaca is a World
Patrimonio de la
Heritage
Humanidad
Site
por su
known for
belleza
its
sin igual.
unparalleled beauty,
Allí,
with
en mi
beautiful hills
provincia,
and
hay unos
amazing
cerros
landscapes.
hermosos,
And she talks
hay
about the
unos
people,
paisajes
the incredible
maravillosos,
people who
una
preserve their
una gente
traditions and
increíble, las
customs
personas son muy buenas,
and to
son muy
celebrate
humildes y
fiestas.
además todos conservan
She's
sus
shown us this
tradiciones,
photo so that we can
conservan sus
actually see
costumbres, hacen
and
sus fiestas
appreciate
patronales.
this
Yo
beautiful
les quiero
area that's
mostrar
in an area
una
called
foto de lo
Purmamarca,
que es la quebrada
and
de
it's
Humahuaca,
just
para que
so
ustedes puedan
valued for
apreciar el
its
cerro de
beauty and
siete
colour.
colores, que
She
significa
tells
que
us
es
about
Purmamarca
a
y que es
hill of even more colours
valorado por
that's
su
called
hermosura
Ornocal.
y por su color.
And then she
Además,
tells us
también en
of
Humahuaca
Las Salinas,
tenemos un cerro
a
de más
large
colores
salt
todavía que se
lake,
llama Hornocal
one of the
y
7
tenemos las
natural
salinas
wonders in
que también han sido
Argentina.
declaradas maravilla, primer
She
maravilla.
tells us about this beautiful
Es una
province
ciudad,
that's full of
es una
wonder
provincia que
and
tiene
where she says she was
muchísimas
lucky to be
cosas muy
born.
lindas y muy rescatables. Allí
She
tuve
then
la
tells us
suerte de
about her
nacer
father,
yo.
who was an Arab,
Mi
born in
papá
Damascus,
era
and he went
árabe,
to Argentina
nació
as
en
quite a young man.
Moarra,
And
Damasco,
well, he spent a
vino
few
de
days
muy
in Buenos
pequeño
Aires,
a la
and then
Argentina.
he went to the
Primero
Furoro
estuvo unos
of
días en Buenos
Cordova,
Aires y
which
después
is
se
in the
fue a la
north of
ciudad de
Argentina,
Córdoba, que queda en el centro de
the
Argentina, en la ciudad
Mediterranean area.
mediterránea,
And from
y de
there,
allí
he went
se
north.
fue al norte. Y se
And he
fue al
went north
norte
because
porque le habían
people
dicho
had
que los
told him
paisajes eran un
that
poco
the
parecidos a
landscape
los
in
de
the
su
north was
tierra.
much
Y
like
él,
his land,
en esa añoranza
much
por
like
su
Damascus,
tierra, en esa
and he had a
añoranza
longing
de
to
su
be back home.
madre,
It was
del
at a
pueblo de
time where
origen,
communications were
él
very
pensó que
different to
nunca
what
más
we have
volvería a
now,
ver
and he thought
en
he
una
would
época donde
never
no había las
be able to
comunicaciones
see
que tenemos
his
ahora.
mother, his
Se fue
land,
entonces a la
that
ciudad de
terroir
San
of
Salvador de Jujuy
origins
y de allí se fue a La
where
Quiaca,
he came from.
a un pueblo que cuando él llegó era un
And
pueblo de
then
3.000
he
habitantes,
went
pero
and
era
he
un
went to a place called,
pueblo muy
called San
amigable
Salvador de
donde él
Cocoy,
trabajó,
and from there
se
to
casó,
Quiaca,
tuvo 7
a
hijos.
village that when he
Entre
first
ellos,
arrived
la
only had
menor y la
3,000
única
people in
mujer fui
it.
yo.
But it
Tengo
was a
6
lovely
hermanos
town,
varones
and the people
en
were
esta
very
historia.
nice.
Allí,
So he stayed there.
en
He
ese
got found
hermoso
work
pueblo de La
and got
Quiaca,
married,
pasé mi
and he
niñez,
had
una
7 children.
niñez hermosa
One of
con los
them,
padres muy
the youngest
presentes.
and the
Allí
only
fui a la
woman,
escuela,
was
tuve
Graciela
maestros
Veronica.
extraordinarios que me enseñaron no solo el amor
She's got
por las
6 older
letras
brothers,
y el
and she
amor por los
tells
libros,
that she
me
still
enseñaron también las
tells us that she still
costumbres,
loves
me
them.
enseñaron a respetar a los
So it's
pueblos
in this beautiful
originarios,
village of Coaca
me
that she
enseñaron
spent her childhood,
a
and
captar el
she
valor de una
talks about
mirada, el valor de una comida
her
simple.
parents always being around
Así
and her
que
school
muy
teachers.
contenta
She
de
talks
lo que me
about
tocó en
her school
suerte,
teachers who taught
contenta
her
y feliz ahora
not
de
only a
conectarme
love
con
of books,
ustedes, con todos los
but
narradores del
also
mundo.
the
Gracias
customs
por esta
and how to
oportunidad.
give back to
Es
the
hermoso
indigenous people of
que
their land.
podamos abrazarnos con la palabra, que
She
podamos
says
comunicarnos en
that they
esta
also taught her
circunstancia que nos
to
toca
grasp
vivir de
the value
aislamiento.
of a look
Nosotros, que
and
somos
the
seres de
value of a
palabra,
simple meal.
no podemos estar
And
porque
so
la palabra
there she
va
is,
como salir de alguna
feeling
forma.
completely
Entonces
touched and
tuvimos que
happy and
adaptarnos a estas
one,
nuevas
so happy to be with us at the
tecnologías
World
y
Storytelling
tratar de
Cafe.
comunicarnos como lo estamos
And she gives
haciendo
thanks
ahora.
for the
Quiero
opportunity.
saludar especialmente a todos los amigos
She
marroquíes,
tells
a
us
todos los narradores,
that
a los
this is an
griots,
opportunity because
cuentacuentos,
of
a
what is
todas las
going on in the
sherezades
world,
que andamos
where
por
we
el
can
mundo,
embrace each
contando
other
historias,
with
haciendo el
words.
mundo un poquito más bonito, tratando de
We
que una
who are
palabra
beings of
les llegue
words
al corazón y que de esa forma
are connected in this
fortificara y sea bálsamo
circumstance.
para alguien. Eso es solo lo que nosotros
And she
buscamos.
tells us
Ser
that
bálsamo,
we
ser
cannot
alegría.
not communicate because the words will always seek a way to escape. And so this is how we are. She especially wants to thank the Moroccans and storytellers from around the world creating this space to make the world a little more beautiful. Handling each word that reaches the heart so that it will fortify and save it. And that's what she says. We all want to be saved and to be happy together. And so here we all are, together in the World Storytelling Cafe. And Graciela Veronica starts telling us that everywhere in the world you go to cafes to go and listen to stories. But in Argentina, it's a bit different. In Argentina, they don't drink coffee. They drink a drink called mate. A mate is a drink made from a herb, but you'll see her showing you. She's servando mate. She is servando mate. This is how you brew your tea. She tells us it's a delicious drink. I've never tried it myself. And she says it's a must and a requisite in every household in Argentina. It's made with a special herb, which I've now looked up, and it's a herb which is like a holly tree, and it has a history. The tea originated with the indigenous people, the Guaranis, close to the Misionera jungle in Paraguay. And it turns out that the moon was watching. And the moon was watching. He was looking down on the earth and seeing all the people having such fun. And he wanted to go down there. Well, he kept looking down and seeing them lighting fires, having parties, having fiestas, dancing. So the moon, which was called Yassi, one day took to Arahi, a cloud that came by, and he told the cloud, "Oh, Arahi, if only I could go down there just for a little, just to enjoy it like all those people are enjoying it. I'd love to go down there." And he convinced Arahi. Arahi said, "When I start to come down, why don't you come with me?" And that's exactly what they did. Arahi, the cloud, started to descend, and the moon followed him until they were all the way down on the earth. And there they were, standing on the ground, two beautiful naked women. And they started to walk through the area. It was in the jungle. The green colours were amazing. The flowers were even more colourful. The perfume of them, everything they touched, they looked at, was just so beautiful. They kept walking and came across the parrots, which were yellow and blue and red, and the monkeys, who were almost laughing at them. And they walked, just taking in the sights and the smells of this beautiful jungle. Well, as they walked through, an old man watched them, and he wondered, why are two beautiful naked women walking through the jungle? But as he watched them walk by, he saw that right
Gracias por
behind them
habernos salvado la vida.
was a jaguar, and the
¿Cómo?
jaguar
¿Una
was
voz?
getting ready
Pero no
to
sabía de
come
dónde venía.
and attack the women.
¿Quién me habla?
Well, he went
¿Y
behind
yo
the
para
women
qué
and he
llamo?
went for the
Gritaba
jaguar.
la luna.
He started attacking him
Hermosa,
and fighting him and
redonda,
fighting him.
brillante.
And in
La
the
luna en
end,
todo su
the
esplendor
jaguar ran
le
away.
agradecía
Well, the
haber
old man
salvado la
turned
vida.
round to try
Le
and
decía,
see the women,
yo la
but they
luna
weren't there.
bajé
He
junto
looked
con la nube a
and
ver
walked
las
for a while,
hermosuras de
but
la tierra.
even
Y
their
fuimos
tracks had
atacadas por un
disappeared.
jaguarete. Y
And
tú
so he
nos
went
has
back to his
salvado.
ranch.
Quiero agradecerte. En
Well, as he
agradecimiento
was walking back
por
to the
haberme
ranch,
salvado la vida,
the moon was in the
te voy a
sky,
dar
and he thought
una
to
bebida.
himself,
Una
how
bebida que vas a
brilliant it
preparar
looked that night.
con
A real
una
full
hierba que
moon.
vas a retirar y vas a retirar
And
cerca
as
de
he
tu
sat
casa.
outside his
Tenés
ranch,
que ir ahí cerca
he
de
heard
tu
a voice.
rancho, crece una planta.
Thank
Esa
you for
planta
saving my life.
la vas a tener que cosechar, la vas a poner a secar.
He looked around.
Luego,
He didn't know where the
cuando
voice was
tengas
coming from.
esa planta seca,
But then
esa hierba
it came
lista,
again.
madurada ya
Thank you
para
for
hacer un
saving my
mate,
life.
eso va a servir para hacer una
I
bebida.
came down to
Una
earth
bebida
with
que
my
te va a
friend
acompañar.
Arahi,
Una bebida
and you
que va a
stopped
aliviar la
the
soledad.
jaguar attacking
Una
us.
bebida que va a alegrar los
And he
corazones.
looked up, and
Una
he knew it
bebida
was the
y
moon,
sobre todo
who
la
now
bebida
looked
del
even
personal.
fuller. And the
El
moon
hombre
said,
se sintió
I
muy
would like to
agradecido.
thank you.
Le agradeció a la luna.
I would
Y
like to
fue y
thank you
hizo
for
lo que
saving
debía.
our lives.
Fue, cosechó la planta,
So
la puso
I'm
a
going to
secar
give you a
y
gift,
se hizo un mate.
a
Y se
gift
preparó un
of
mate
a
con una
beautiful
calabaza,
drink that you
que
can
es
drink with
una
anybody.
planta,
It will warm your
una calabaza, se
hearts
hizo un
and it will
mate, una
unite
pequeña
people.
bombilla y empezó a cebar.
She
Empezó
explained
a tomar
that just
esta
down the road from the
riquísima,
ranch there was a plant which he
esta
could
riquísima bebida.
harvest
Esta bebida
and then
llamada
dry
mate
out
tomamos todos los
and then
argentinos.
grind
Cuando
it down.
llegamos a la casa de algún amigo,
And then,
siempre hay un mate.
once that is done,
Cuando
he would be
estamos
able
por irnos, hay un
to
mate.
servant
A la mañana tomamos mate. Los
mate.
estudiantes toman mate. Es la bebida que nos acompaña.
Well, he walked out of the ranch and sure enough he found this plant. And he harvested. He went and he dried out the leaves and he broke them down. And he put the leaves into a gourd and poured hot water on top. And then he took a sip. And he took a sip of the most delicious drink he'd ever had. This was mate. Now mate, the Jorge tells us that it's drunk by every Argentinian person. When you go to someone's house, they will automatically offer you mate. The students drink mate. First thing in the morning, mate. Mate is a drink of friendship and it's shared by all Argentinians. And now the Jorge has shared one with you. The Jorge now tells us how happy she is to be sharing her legends, her customs of Argentina. As she's told us already, she's Jujeña, she's from Jujuy, and she loves her land. She says that there's no poet or singer who hasn't dedicated verses to this place if they're from Argentina. And she mentions a gentleman called Raúl Galán, who said, Jujuy is named that as it must be a thing of God. In the language of heaven, Jujuy is the name of love. She tells us how beautiful it is. The fact that it's the land of her ancestors, where her parents are, where the remains of her ancestors are, where her brothers and everything familiar to her lies, and it's also in her heart. And now she lives in Buenos Aires, but every day she'll either take something or tell a story or even think of Jujuy because she loves her country so much. So now she's going to tell us a story from Jujuy. They say that the stories tell that the devil goes to collect souls at the time of siesta. Well, when he goes to go and do this hard work, he always puts on his poncho. A poncho that was made by his godmother. a poncho that was made from alpaca wool. It was beautiful and golden, and at the very bottom of the poncho there was little balls, and these balls were the souls that the devil had already taken. Well, one day Cleofe was in the house cooking dinner, and there was a knock at the door, and when she opened the door, there was the devil himself. Yes, what are you offering? I'm here for the soul of Basilio. Basilio, her husband, was still in bed, even though it was almost time to take a siesta. Well, she said, wait a moment. And she went running into the bedroom. Basilio, Basilio, the devil is here to take your soul. What, me? He said, rolling round in the bed. Why me? I'm good. You were out all night with your friends. You were drinking wine till stupid o'clock in the morning. You're still in bed now and none of the housework has been done. And it's almost time to eat before you go for a siesta. Oh, but you wait here. I'll see what I can do, said the Cleofe. And she went back into the kitchen. And there the devil was smelling the food that she'd been cooking. That smells lovely, he said. Oh, well, Mr. Devil, why don't you sit down for a while? You're not in a rush. Have some food. Well, the Cleofe was famed for her food. She made the best empanadas in all of Argentina, the best logros. But today, she was making carbonada. Carbonada is a traditional dish in Argentina, made from corn, pumpkin, and green onion. Well, she went and she stirred the pot. And as she was stirring the pot, she saw a jar of peppers. And she picked up the jar and she put all of it into the mix. And she stirred it and she stirred it. And then she started to prepare the scallions, the green onions. And she started chopping them up very fine. But as she chopped them up, she picked up a green pepper and she started chopping that up extremely fine, and she mixed it in with the green onions. She got a bowl and she served a big bowl of this dish with a big pile of green onions on top, and she gave it to the devil. Wow, the food smelled so delicious. He got a big spoon. It tasted even better than it had smelled. But it was hot. But it was so delicious he had to have another spoon. But it was extremely hot, but he had another spoon. At this stage, even his tail was burning. Oh, this is so hot. But why don't you take off your poncho? Stay a while. He didn't need to be asked twice. He took off the poncho in one go. And he had another spoon full of the carbonara. By now, he had black tears, blacker than his soul, coming down his cheeks. Oh, is there nothing to drink in this house? Well, the Cleofe grabbed a bottle of grappa and put it beside him with a glass. And he poured one and knocked it back. Oh, poured a second and drank it back. And a third. Well, at this stage, I don't know if it was the heat of the siesta or the heat of the carbonada or the grappa itself. But the devil started to get so tired. Oh, I'm so tired. The Cleofe said, well, why don't you just stop for a
Cuando la
while.
criofe vio que el basilio
He
estaba
didn't need to be asked twice.
agarró
He
un
pushed
rosario que le
the
habían
plate
regalado
one
los
side
Reyes
and the
Magos
glass the
y
other,
le
and he
dijo,
lay
va de
down
retro, Satanás,
to sleep.
andate de esta casa. El diablo
In no time
cuando
he was
vio la
snoring.
cruz salió corriendo, corriendo, corriendo y se fue para
Basilio, who'd been
averiguar
watching at the
qué
door,
lugar es el
saw
cerro donde
exactly
vive
what
el
was
diablo,
happening.
la
And as soon as
Salamanca.
the devil started snoring,
Y
he
ahí se fue el
ran into the
diablo
room and
y ya no
grabbed the
podía volver.
poncho and went
Se le
running
había acabado
as
el
far
jarabe
away
que
as he
tenía
could
él
to the
para ir al
faraway
pueblo.
village.
Así que cuando el Basilio vio
The
que
Cleofe
el
waited
diablo se
some
había
time
ido,
until
quedó
she knew
borracho y
that
volvió.
Basilio
Cuando
would be
Basilio
far
volvió
away.
con la Cleofe los dos,
And she went
agarraron el
and she
poncho
took
del diablo
the
y
rosary
con una
beads
tijerita
that the curate had
empezaron
given
a
her,
cortar
and
cada
she
una de las bolitas del
shouted at
poncho.
the devil,
Y cada
"Get out
bolita
of this house,
era
you're
una
not
niña
welcome
en
here."
el cielo.
Well, as soon
Y
as
se
he woke up to
quemaron
the
todas
shouting
las
and saw the
niñas
cross,
que
he
habían
went
hecho
running, and he kept running and running and running and went
Y
to
así
Hanukkah,
dicen que el diablo anda enojado
to a
y
place
que
on
no
the
se
hill
venían más para
where the
cazar
devil
a la hora de la
resides,
siesta.
called
Y anda
Salamanca.
enojado no por el poncho, porque al fin y
Well,
al cabo su madrina
he
le
had
pidió que
lost
se
his
lo.
poncho,
El diablo está enojado porque tiene ganas de comer
but
esa
it was too
riquísima
late for him
comida
to
de la
go back
criofe,
because
pero no puede volver
siesta
más.
time was almost
Y
over.
cuentan lo que cuentan,
So,
que así fue como el diablo
at
perdió
the
el
other
poncho.
side, Basilio
Esto que les acabo de
came
contar
back
es una leyenda
with the poncho
que se
of
llama
the devil.
la siesta en que el diablo perdió el poncho.
And he and
Porque acá en
Cleofe
Argentina,
started
cuando
to
decimos alguna
gently
cosa que da
cut
muy lejos, decimos,
the
y
balls
eso es donde el diablo
with the
perdió el poncho.
soles off the poncho, one by one, and they came into the air like a mist, the souls and friendliness, and they started to move up to the heavens. The sky started to be filled with this. And Cleofe and Basilio never saw the devil again. But the devil, he was still sat in his place in Salamanca. And he felt sorry that he'd lost his poncho. But he wasn't so worried about the poncho. All he wanted was to taste that delicious, amazing carbonara just one more time. This story is called The Siesta, where the devil lost his poncho. Now, in Argentina, the Juge tells us that to say where the devil lost his poncho is to say very, very far away. So she decided to tell us this story just because we are all so far away from each other. Exactly where the devil left his poncho. Now the Juge wants to share even more about her land of Argentina. She wants us to come and visit her in Argentina. At the moment, we're all obviously kept to ourselves, taking care of others and taking care of ourselves. But she says the important thing is that we are all able to unite with the words that we use. We're embracing each other and we're encouraging ourselves with words. And she wants to thank all her friends at the World Storytelling Cafe for being invited to such a beautiful storytelling group, and to thank the Moroccan friends and say we are all strong together and we will get to the cafe sometime.
Que vamos a salir adelante, que vamos a poder volver a los cafés, a contar historias. Mi papá me contaba
Now
siempre
the
que en Damasco
tells us the stories of her father. Her father was always telling stories, legends from Damascus. And he used to tell everybody about the cafes where one person would tell a story and everybody would listen. Her dad was a good storyteller. He told his own stories, the stories of his life. And when the Juge went to school and they were asked, does anyone know any stories? She told stories of sheep and wolves, the stories her father had told her. Because as a young man, when he was only 10 years old, very, very young, he was sent out
muy
to
pequeño
shepherd
se iba a
the sheep.
pastar las ovejas, a
It was a
cuidar esa
small family
pequeña
business,
economía familiar,
and
con mucho miedo, con
he
mucho
came
temor que
from
le
quite a
pasara
humble
algo.
family.
Tenía que cuidar mucho
They had
esas 10
goats and
ovejitas
sheep,
que tenía la
and
familia. Era el
he was sent
sustento
out
de su
with a
familia.
little bit of food
Y muchas veces pasó
to watch the
noches
sheep from the
llorando adentro
wolves
de una roca porque los
overnight.
lobos, que sentían el
Well,
olor a las ovejas y que querían comer, se acercaban.
many times he
Entonces él
sat
me
there
contaba que se
crying
metía en una cueva en las
alone
rocas,
and
alguna
sad,
muarra, y que armaba,
and he used to
armaba
hide
una pared toda de piedras.
in
Ponía
a
todas
little
piedras
cave
para separar a los lobos
or
a la noche
build
de las ovejitas que
walls
estaban con
out of
él. Y que él
stones
tenía tanto,
to
tanto
try and
frío
protect
que dormía
the
todo
sheep
pegadito con las
from the
ovejas,
wolves
porque era
who
la
could
única forma
smell
de mantener
their
ese
scent.
calor estando solo. Y así, a la noche, él cantaba sus
And whilst he
canciones.
sat there
Y alejaya, y
in these
alejaya, y
little walls that
alejaya, y
he'd built,
anabaya, y
and he
anabaya, y
cuddled up to the
alejaya.
sheep because that was the
Todo
only
eso
way
me
to keep
cantaba mi
warm,
papá. Todas sus
he used to
historias de
sing
vida,
to himself
sus
and
historias
the
de
sheep.
allá de
He used to
Damasco.
tell stories,
Esas historias, porque él era un gran
but
cuentacuentos.
singing
Y además,
was one of his
era un
great
gran
loves.
cantante. Él se
And by
hizo
the
su
time he
rababi.
got to
Como no
Argentina,
tenía un instrumento, se
by
lo
the
hizo
time he
él
got to
propiamente
Cuaca,
con sus propias
he
manos.
made his
En
own
la
ruba.
quiaca se hizo un rababi. Y
He made his
cantaba
own
y tocaba
musical
el
instrument
rababi, me
so
hacía
that
bailar.
he would
Y
be
esa fue mi
able
niñez.
to
Una
sing
niñez
and
de
play.
canciones,
He made
una
it
niñez
by
de
himself
historias.
with his own
Quería
hands.
compartirlas con ustedes,
And
con todos los
everywhere that he went, he
cuentacuentos,
would sing
narradores,
and he would
queridos de
play.
todo el mundo. Los saludo con todo mi
And now, ladies
corazón.
and gentlemen,
Ha
that's
sido
the
un
end
placer
of the
poder
stories.
saludarlos desde Argentina.
I would like to thank
En este
Graciela
momento
Veronica
estamos
for the
todos unidos por
opportunity.
la palabra.
It has been
Un beso
absolute
grande a
wonderful
todos.
pleasure.
Gracias.
But
Gracias por
she
esta
actually
convocatoria.
said, and I need to read this to you because this is just one of the things. She sends you all health with all of her heart. She says it has been a pleasure to be able to greet you from Argentina. And at this moment, we are all united with words. Thank you very much from both me and Graciela Veronica. La Jorge.
Did you enjoy that storyteller? Of course you did. And if you enjoyed it, like the minstrels of old, we're passing round the hat. And if you have some, whether it's paper or coin, our storytellers would appreciate what you put in. Every penny you put in goes directly to that storyteller through paper. All you have to do is go to worldstorytellingcafe.com. Click on today's stories or click on that storyteller and there'll be a hat below the story. And you can just drop a little in that hat. Well, thank you for listening. And if you can afford it, we'd appreciate it.